The bright side of secrecy, the energizing effect of positive secrets. Michael L. Existing wisdom holds that secrecy is burdensome and fatiguing. However, past research has conflated secrecy with the kinds of adverse events that are often kept secret. As a result, it's unclear whether secrecy is inherently depleting, or whether these consequences vary based on the underlying meaning of the secret. We resolve this confound by examining the consequences of positive secrets. In contrast to the prior research, 5 experiments, n equals 2,800, find that positive secrets increase feelings of energy relative to A. Content-matched positive non-secrets, B. Other pieces of unknown positive information, and C. Other kinds of secrets. Importantly, these energizing effects of positive secrets were independent of positive effect. We further found that positive secrets are energizing because, compared to other kinds of secrets, people keep them for more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated reasons. That is, these secrets are more freely chosen, more consistent with personal values, and more motivated by internal desires than by external pressures. Using both measures and manipulations of these motivations, we found that a motivational mechanism helps explain the energizing effect of positive secrets. The present results offer new insights into secrecy, how people respond to positive life events, and the subjective experiences of vitality and energy. Keywords: secrecy, vitality, energy, intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. Supplemental materials: https://doi.org/1037/pspa0000352.subp https://do evaluates as positively velost. Evaluates as positively velost. 8. We asked 500 people this question, and 76% of them said that the first thing they would do is share the good news with someone. Appendix. This instinct to reach out to others about good news is common. People share stories of their positive experiences 80% of the time, according to one estimate, Gable et al., 2004. Sharing good news with others is done with good reason, as discussing positive events with others is associated with a range of benefits. Beyond any interpersonal benefits, sharing positive events and news with others allows people to savor life's upswings, increasing attention to and appreciation of positive experiences. Gable and Rees, 2010, Gable et al., 2004. In the current research, we examine a phenomenon that runs counter to the impulse to share, the decision to keep positive information secret. We define positive secrecy as the intention to keep positive information under one or more others, and the hidden positive information is the positive secret. By positive information, we mean information that an individual globally evaluates as positively velost. In contrast to the research that shows secrecy is burdensome and that people are better off sharing good news, Pritchard and Ferguson, 2014, Gable and Rees, 2010, Gable et al., 2004, Larson et al., 2015, Quinn and Chaudhar, 2009, Slepian et al., 2017. The current research reveals that keeping positive information secret can be beneficial by fostering feelings of energy for the positive secret holder. The meaning of secrecy. Classic accounts of secrecy conceptualize it as a costly process of inhibition, which depletes people's cognitive resources as they strive to keep information from others. Lane and Wegner, 1995. According Lane and Wegner, 1995, to this view, concealment of any information, regardless of its valence, is fatiguing, because it involves continual monitoring of one's speech and behavior to ensure that others do not become aware of the secret information. C.F. Pritchard and Ferguson, 2014, Smart and Wegner, 1999. Recent research, however, shows that concealment is only one aspect of secrecy. Indeed, one has a secret as soon as one forms an intention to keep information from others, a process that often occurs well before any need to conceal arises. Slepian, 2022. Defining secrecy as concealment neglects the most common and consequential aspects of secrecy, which arise from the intention to keep information hidden, not the act of itself. In fact, most of the experience of secrecy extends beyond the brief moments in which information is actively concealed. People mind wander to their secrets outside of concealment settings about twice as often as they actively conceal them in social settings. Slepian et al., 2017. Recent research reveals that the deleterious effects of negative secrets stem from how people think about and consider their secrets during these wandering episodes, not how frequently they. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Michael L. Slepian, https://orchid.org/0000-0002-4728-2178 https://orchid.org/0000-0002-4728-2178 Michael L. Slepian. Michael.Slepian at Columbia.edu Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Attitudes and Social Cognition. Copyright 2020. https Conceal the secret during conversations with others, Slepian and Co., 2021, Slepian et al., 2017. See also Moss et al., 2011, Quinn and Chodwar, 2009. When actively concealing a secret, people do not have the time nor the bandwidth to think about all the negative implications of a secret. Their attention is primarily devoted toward not revealing the information related to the secret, i.e., monitoring for any potential slippages, rather than reflecting on the larger meaning of the secret. Pritchard and Ferguson, 2014, Slepian, 2022. Outside of concealment episodes, however, people's minds are free to roam, and when it comes to negative secrets, the mind is often drawn to negative and harmful places filled with isolation and uncertainty. Slepian and Co., 2021. Recognizing that the effects of secrets stem more from how we reflect on the hidden information during moments of private pondering, rather than from interpersonal concealment, generates a novel prediction. Secrecy may not be inherently depleting and burdensome to the secret keeper. Instead, the meaning that people attach to the secret may guide its psychological effects. Slepian et al., 2019. The current work explores the idea that the meaning of some secrets, positive secrets, may carry psychological benefits rather than cause psychological harms. Positive secrets. Prior research on secrecy has focused on the effects of negative secrets, secrets that that people consider unpleasant, objectionable, or embarrassing. Major and Ramzo, 1999. Yet, many secrets are positive in nature, from marriage proposals to gifts to surprises to unexpected good news. Although negative secrets have been found to be fatiguing, Slepian et al., 2019, we propose that positive secrets can be energizing. In the current work, we define feelings of energy as positive activation that is experienced as feeling alive, alert, active, and invigorated. See Harmon Jones et al., 2009, Ryan and Desi, 2008, Ryan and Frederick, 1997, Saunders and Inslet, 2016. One reason why positive secrets may be energizing rather than fatiguing is because they make people feel good. Research has shown that savoring positive experiences heightens positive feelings. Kurtz et al., 2007, Hoiback et al., 2010, Spear et al., 2014. Thus, positive Kurtz et al., 2007, Hoiback et al., 2010, Spear et al., 2014. Secrets may energize because they lead people to spend more time savoring the information, reflecting on its meaning, or considering possible joyful reactions to sharing the secret. The positive effect that this savoring generates may be energizing. Indeed, prior work has shown that positive effect predicts subjective feelings of energy. Ryan and Frederick, 1997, Sheldon et al., 1996. We propose another reason for why positive secrets may be energizing, one that sheds light on the motivational underlying secrecy. Motivation scholars focus on the quality of one's motivation to perform an activity, which may be high or low, and whether motivation is oriented in intrinsic or extrinsic ways. Ryan and Desi, 2000. As we have outlined, a simple view of positive secrets would suggest that their positive content and the positive effect it engenders is energizing because people like to dwell on information that is satisfying or rewarding. Moving beyond this view, aside from the content of the secret, we examine the motivation behind the positive secret. To have a secret is to be motivated, i.e., to be moved to do something. Ryan and Desi, 2000. In the case of both a positive and a negative secret, people are motivated to keep information from others. What differs between these types of secrets, we propose, is the orientation of the motivation, with positive secrets operating through relatively intrinsic, compared to extrinsic, channels. A classic example of intrinsic motivation is engaging in a behavior for its own enjoyment, an internal reason. Green and Lepper, 1974, Ryan, 1982. And related motivational states include engaging in behaviors that represent authentic interests and values. Sheldon and Elliott, 1998. In contrast, extrinsic motivation involves performing a task for some reward, e.g., payment, an external reason. Green and Lepper, 1974, or to avoid some punishment, another external reason. Desi, 1972. In 3 of the present studies, we assess intrinsic motivation as freely choosing to keep information hidden, as opposed to choices based in external pressures or constraints. See Deci and Ryan, 1985. Nix et al., 1999. Ryan, 1995. In our final study, we assess intrinsic motivation as freely choosing to keep information hidden because it is enjoyable or personally important, i.e., a motivation free from external pressure. See Sheldon and Elliott, 1998-1999. In contrast to positive secrets, we propose that other kinds of secrets are more extrinsically motivated, driven by external demands and pressures, e.g., seeking to influence others' impressions of oneself, seeking to not hurt others' feelings. Prior work corroborates the idea that prototypically negative secrets are more motivated by external pressures. For instance, people often keep secrets to protect one's reputation in the eyes of others or to protect a relationship. McDonald et al., 2020. While people might reveal positive information for external reasons, e.g., to receive praise from others, we suggest that people often keep positive information secret for internal reasons that are relatively more self-determined. Building off prior work, we conceptualize motivation as existing on a continuum ranging from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. Deci and Ryan, 1985. This continuum varies on the extent to which the motivation for a behavior comes from outside versus inside the self, termed an external to internal perceived locus of causality. Ryan and Deci, 2000. We propose that having a positive secret places one higher on this continuum than other types of secrets because the choice to keep positive information secret is usually one that is autonomously chosen and allows people to experience competence as they successfully implement their choice, i.e., showing mastery, and these represent two of the necessary conditions for intrinsic motivation to emerge. Deci and Ryan, 1985. Deci and Ryan, 1985. Ryan and Deci, 2000. Deci and Ryan, 1985. This motivational perspective emphasizes the agency of the secret keeper, such that people keep positive information secret often for internal reasons, rather than because the situation requires it. Consider someone who has bought a gift for themselves and decides to keep this information secret in order to privately savor the reward. This personal enjoyment constitutes an intrinsic motivation behind keeping the secret. However, if a person were embarrassed about the nature of the gift and kept it secret to avoid influencing others' impressions, i.e., an external reason, this would instead be a secret that is more extrinsically motivated. This example also serves to illustrate that a positive secret is not necessarily devoid of negativity. People can be embarrassed about their positive secrets, e.g., having paid an exorbitant price for strongly desired concert tickets, and they can keep secret their joys over others' misfortunes, e.g., seeing a rival fail. We therefore do not propose that all positive secrets are purely intrinsically motivated. Indeed, our studies reported here find that about 26% of positive secrets are extrinsically motivated, e.g., not being allowed to reveal, or kept due to other external pressures, and our findings show that these secrets. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Positive secrets 1019 are less energizing than intrinsically motivated secrets. Thus, our core proposition is that positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated, a state referred to as self-concordance. Sheldon and Elliott, 1999. Theorists define goals as self-concordant when they are pursued because of personal interest, intrinsic motivation, or in line with personal convictions. Identified motivation. Sheldon and Elliott, 1998. In such cases, these goals are considered integrated with the self, i.e., have an internal perceived locus of causality. Self-concordant goals contrast with other goals that are pursued for outside reasons, external motivation, or because one would feel bad for not engaging in the goal behavior, introject motivation. Self-concordance is operationalized as a difference score between these two broad forms of motivation, which serves as a statistical representation of our proposition that positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. The more self-concordant a goal is perceived to be, the more attainment of that goal is related to increased well-being. Sheldon and Elliott, 1999. Hence, even when keeping a positive secret deprives one of others' reactions to the positive content of the secret may still bring its bearer benefits when keeping the secret outcomes with personal values or is personally enjoyable. Taking this motivational perspective allows for an interpretation of positive secrecy that applies to many different types of positive secrets, e.g., surprises, good news, ambitions, and many different goals behind keeping the information secret, e.g., because it is personally important to heighten anticipation for autonomy. For instance, if someone values humility, they may choose to keep secret a recent achievement or award. Or take another example. If someone values personal freedom, they may choose to keep secret an ambition to preserve their independence. Or, returning to our personal gift. Example, one may choose to keep this secret simply for the joy of savoring the experience in private. Despite having different content and being kept for different reasons, we argue that what unites these examples is the fact that positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. The energizing effects of intrinsic motivation. Autonomous motivation, an important ingredient of intrinsic motivation, is a known predictor of feelings of energy and vitality. For example, Ryan and Frederick, 1997, examined individuals who were participating in a weight loss program. They measured the extent to which the individuals were participating in the program for external reasons, e.g., advice from doctors, pressure from significant others, and internal reasons, e.g., personal choice, a desire to change. The authors found that internal versus external reasons for weight loss were related to higher feelings of vitality on a subjective vitality scale that they established and validated. Similarly, Kaiser and Ryan, 1999, found that elderly residents who felt greater autonomy in their lives also felt more energized, as measured by the subjective vitality scale. Likewise, Sheldon et al., 1996, found in a 2-week longitudinal study that college students who felt greater autonomy also experienced greater subjective vitality. Reese et al., 2000, found that daily changes in feelings of autonomy predicted daily changes in vitality, including when controlling for a variety of individual differences. And among athletes, measured intrinsic motivation predicted feelings of vitality both before practice and after, Gagne et al., 2003. The causal effect of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation on feelings of energy has also been established. In one experiment by Nix et al., 1999, participants either freely engaged in a card sorting task or were forced to sort cards in a manner determined by another person. They found that the personally chosen condition was more energizing than the external demand condition. In another one of their experiments, participants performed a perceptual puzzle task with the framing of "have what it takes to be an Air Force pilot," i.e., meeting an external demand, or performed the puzzle task for their own enjoyment, and again the personally chosen condition was more energizing than the external demand condition. And in a third experiment, participants imagined taking a college course for their own enjoyment or because they felt pressure to do well, and again the personally chosen condition was more energizing than the external pressures condition. In sum, naturally occurring intrinsic motivation predicts feelings of energy, and experiments that frame actions and behaviors as intrinsically motivated produce greater feelings of energy compared to when the same actions and behaviors are framed as extrinsically motivated. We hypothesized that positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated compared to other kinds of secrets. We also argue that as a result, positive secrets will energize the individual keeping them, relative to other types of secrets and relative to positive secrets that are extrinsically motivated. Experimental overview. In contrast to prior research and theorizing that secrets are depleting, our core proposition is that positive secrets can be energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of common pieces of good news from a large pilot study. We then randomly assigned participants to think about real secret good news or real non-secret good news and report their feelings of energy. We further proposed that the energizing effect of positive secrets occur because positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. Providing an experimental test of this proposition, Study 2 motivated. Providing an experimental test of this proposition, Study 2 asked participants to select a piece of good news that would make them happy, could plausibly happen to them, and would not be known by others until shared. After selecting the good news, participants were randomly assigned to one of three conditions: an intrinsic motivation condition, an extrinsic motivation condition, or a baseline motivation condition, and then reported their resulting feelings of energy. To establish that these motivational effects are properties of real positive secrets, the remaining studies examined real positive secrets compared to other kinds of real secrets. Study 3 compared positive secrets to negative secrets and measured positive effects and the motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets' motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets with a conservative comparison condition, secrets of unspecified valence, and measured the motivation for the secret, i.e., whether one chose to keep the secret freely or in response to external pressures, as well as feelings of energy. Finally, Study 5 measured intrinsic and extrinsic motivation separately, allowing us to examine both forms of motivation as well. as self-concordance, i.e., the difference between them. The study randomly assigned participants to imagine personal information that was likely to be relevant to an upcoming conversation, which they intended to keep secret or not, and was positive or not. This approach allowed us to test whether, as we proposed, compared to other kinds of secrets, positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated, and whether this motivational data. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. 1020 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Self-concordance predicts greater feelings of energy. This approach also allowed us to compare the pattern of results for secrets to that of non-secrets, matched not on content as per study 1, but matched in perspection, i.e., that the information would soon be relevant to upcoming conversations. In each of our studies, we sought to have at least 200 observations per study cell, with 80% power and alpha equals 0.05. This sample size can detect an effect size of Cohen's d. In contrast to prior research and theorizing that secrets are depleting, our core proposition is that positive secrets can be energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of common pieces of good news from a large pilot study. We then randomly assigned participants to think about real secret good news or real non-secret good news and report their feelings of energy. We further proposed that the energizing effect of positive secrets occur because positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. Providing an experimental test of this proposition, Study 2 motivated. For an experimental test of this proposition, Study 2 asked participants to select a piece of good news that would make them happy, could plausibly happen to them, and would not be known by others until shared. After selecting the good news, participants were randomly assigned to one of three conditions: an intrinsic motivation condition, an extrinsic motivation condition, or a baseline motivation condition, and then noted their resulting feelings of energy. To establish that these motivational effects are properties of real positive secrets, the remaining studies examined real positive secrets compared to other kinds of real secrets. Study 3 compared positive secrets to negative secrets and measured positive effect and the motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets' motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets with a conservative comparison condition, secrets of unspecified valence, and measured the motivation for the secret, i.e., whether one chose to keep the secret freely or in response to external pressures, as well as feelings of energy. Finally, Study 5 measured intrinsic and extrinsic motivation separately, allowing us to examine both forms of motivation as well as self-concordance, i.e., the difference between them. The study randomly assigned participants to imagine personal information that was likely to be relevant to an upcoming conversation, which they intended to keep secret or not, and was positive or not. This approach allowed us to test whether, as we proposed, compared to other kinds of secrets, positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated, and whether this motivational data. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. 1020 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Self-concordance predicts greater feelings of energy. This approach also allowed us to compare the pattern of results for secrets to that of non-secrets, matched not on content as per Study 1, but matched in perspection, i.e., that the information would soon be relevant to upcoming conversations. In each of our studies, we sought to have at least 200 observations per study cell, with 80% power and alpha equals 0.05. This sample size can detect an effect size of Cohen's d equals 0.28. See Fritz et al., 2012, Keener Sorella et al., 1020 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Self-concordance predicts great 1020 Slepian, Greenaway. This document is copyrighted by the Americans. In contrast to prior research and theorizing that secrets are depleting, our core proposition is that positive secrets can be energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret energizing. To test this proposition, our first study compared secret to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of to non-secret good news. We developed a comprehensive list of common pieces of good news from a large pilot study. We then randomly assigned participants to think about real secret good news or real non-secret good news and report their feelings of energy. We further proposed that the energizing effect of positive secrets occur because because positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. Providing an experimental test of this proposition, study 2 motivated. Providing an experimental test of this proposition, study 2 asked participants to select a piece of good news that would make them happy, could plausibly happen to them, and would not be known by others until shared. After selecting the good news, participants were randomly assigned to one of 3 conditions: an intrinsic motivation condition, an extrinsic motivation condition, or a baseline motivation condition, and then reported their resulting feelings of energy. To establish that these motivational effects are properties of real positive secrets, the remaining studies examined real positive secrets compared to other kinds of real secrets. Study 3 compared positive secrets to negative secrets and measured positive effect and the motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets' motivation behind the secret. Study 4 then compared positive secrets with a conservative comparison condition, secrets of unspecified valence, and measured the motivation for the secret, i.e., whether one chose to keep the secret freely or in response to external pressures, as well as feelings of energy. Finally, Study 5 measured intrinsic and extrinsic motivation separately, allowing us to examine both forms of motivation as well as self-concordance, i.e., the difference between them. The study randomly assigned participants to imagine personal information that was likely to be relevant to an upcoming conversation, which they intended to keep secret or not, and was positive or not. This approach allowed us to test whether, as we propose, compared to other kinds of secrets, positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated, and whether this motivational data. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. 1020 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Self-concordance predicts greater feelings of energy. Energy. Self-concordance predicts greater feelings of energy. This approach also allowed us to compare the pattern of results for secrets to that of non-secrets, matched not on content as for Study 1, but matched in perspection, i.e., that the information would soon be relevant to upcoming conversations. In each of our studies, we sought to have at least 200 observations per study cell, with 80% power and alpha equals 0.05. This sample size can detect an effect size of Cohen C equals 0.28. C. Fritz et al., 2012, Kino Sorella et al., 2019. We used established measures for our focal outcome variables, the subjective vitality scale, Bostic et al., 2000, and the feelings of energy scale, Slepian et al., 2019. And we used an established measure of our control variable, positive effect, using the Panis-X joy scale, Watson and Clark, 1999. This research was approved by the local institutional board. The studies were not pre-registered, but every measure and manipulation is reported, and all code and data are available at https://osf.o/j4u3p/?view_only =CE64784E5E804 C168FB3 https://osf.io/j4u3p/?view_only CE64784E 5E804 C168FB3AF1DB09E0288F1DB09E0288. Our samples are drawn from Cloud Research's Turk Prime and Prolific, and our conclusions are limited to Western individuals who have internet literacy. Our samples have diverse age ranges, 18 to 78 years old, and come from diverse locations throughout the United States. We also examined a large range of real-life positive secrets. By studying positive secrets, which depart from prior studies of secrecy, we provide a more nuanced picture of the effects of secrecy, a common social phenomenon that researchers know relatively little about. Study 1. Secret versus non-secret good news. Study 1 examines good news. Good news represents an ideal domain to sample because good news can be about a range of events, experiences, and activities, and can be something people plan to discuss and share with others, or not, and can be something people intend to keep secret, or not. We randomly assigned participants to think about pieces of good news they currently keep secret, or pieces of good news they currently have but are not secret. Specifically, we implemented a design that holds constant what participants recall, and experimentally varies whether people reflect on their secret good news or their non-secret good news. We then measured feelings of energy. Given the possibility that secret good news may differ from non-secret good news in terms of the positivity of the news, we also measured positive effect. This design allowed us to compare the energizing effects of positive secrets to non-secrets about the same kinds of good news. We also measured whether participants intended to share their positive information, whether secret or not, so that we could also examine the independent effect of intending to share positive information. Method. Participants and design. We randomly assigned participants n equals 200, MAGE equals 39.23, SD equals 13.44, range equals 19 to 70, 104 men, 95 women, one other, to one of two conditions between subjects. Participants first were exposed to a list of common pieces of good news and were asked to indicate which pieces of good news they currently held secret and which pieces of good news were non-secret. Subsequently, participants were randomly assigned to reflect on each piece of secret good news or non-secret good news. At the end of the study, 6 participants admitted to fabricating their answers when asked and were thus excluded. Our final sample consisted of 194 participants. Stimuli. To identify a set of stimuli that could have these features, we first posted a study on Cloud Research's TurkPrime for 1,000 people who currently had secret good news. MAGE equals 33.79, SD equals 11.24, range equals 18 to 78, and simply asked participants to describe the good news. Adopting a method from prior work, Slepian et al., 2017, we coded responses to arrive at a set of the 38 most common categories of good news for subsequent studies. Completed a task, accepted into a school/program, starting school/program, new job, a promotion or bonus, recognized for something other than the preceding, business doing well/starting a business, a new project, an accomplishment/achievement, a financial windfall, winning a game/award, winning a gamble, reducing one's debt, saving up money, upcoming social event, upcoming trip, upcoming activity, other than preceding, giving a gift, surprising someone, other than with a gift. Receiving a gift, a small self-gift, moving/approved for housing, approved for something, other than housing, e.g., license, loan, new possession/pet, family news, health news, e.g., improvement, marriage proposal, pregnancy, found something, new opportunity, new idea/belief, self-development, life change, personal news, other than preceding, uncertain but positive event, other than preceding. Procedure. Adopting a methodology developed to collect data on multiple secrets for each participant, Slepian et al., 2017. Study 1 a range of good news, both secret and not. Participants were first exposed to an elaborated list of these 38 common categories of good news, which we term the Good News Questionnaire, see the appendix. For each item on the list, participants indicated whether they had that good news or not, and whether it was secret or not. See Figure 1 for a visualization of participants' recent good news, secret and not. Secret versus non-secret condition. In the secret condition, we presented to participants the set of good news they identified as current secrets, and for each, we asked them to report their feelings of energy when thinking about the good news, positive effect, and intent to share the good news with others. In the non-secret condition, participants were instead assigned to think of their non-secret items of current good news and complete. The same measures for each piece of non-secret good news. Feelings of energy. For each piece of good news, we measured resulting feelings of energy with the 6-item subjective vitality scale, Bostic et al., 2000, from 1, not at all, to 7, vary, alpha equals 0.96, e.g., items included, feeling awake and alert, feeling energized, feeling alive. Positive effect. As a control variable, we measured positive effect with 2 items asking about the good news. How good does it make you feel, and how happy does it make you, from 1, not at all, to 7, vary, are equals 0.83. Intent to share. We measured intent to share with a single item. I intend to tell people/someone about this, from 1, not at all, to 7, very much. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Positive Secrets 1021. Results. Of the 38 common categories of good news, people currently held on average 14 to 15 such experiences. N equals 14.54, SD equals 8.52, 95% CI, 13.34, 15.75, with an average of 5 to 6 pieces of good news that were currently secret. N equals 5.66, SD equals 6.67, 95% CI, 4.71, 6.60, and 9 pieces of good news that were non-secret. N equals 8.88, SD equals 5.72, 95% CI, 8.07, 9.69. Thus, having good news represents a common experience for our participants. While participants commonly had both secret good news and non-secret good news across the 38 categories, by random assignment, participants reported only on their non-secrets, N equals 807, or only on their secrets, N equals 647. This design allowed us to ask, across the same categories of good news, whether secret good news is more energizing than non-secret good news. By also Entering intent to share as a simultaneous predictor, our analyses examine whether the energizing effect of keeping a piece of good news secret is independent of any energizing effect of intending to share the good news with others. We implemented a cross-classified multi-level model, predicting feelings of energy from the manipulated between subjects condition, 1 equals secret, 0 equals non-secret, and measured intent to share, including random intercepts for participant in category of good news. As is typical, cross-classified models failed to converge with random slopes. All multi-level models in the current work, studies 1 and 2, were estimated using the LME4R package, Bates et al., 2015, and p-values were estimated. With static weight approximation tests using the Lummer test R package, this procedure scales model estimates to approximate the F distribution in estimating degrees of freedom, resulting in non-whole numbers. Kuznetsova et al. 2015, by modeling category of good news as a random factor. Composed of a comprehensive list of common kinds of good news, we seek to provide estimates that generalize to other unsampled kinds of good news. As seen in Table 1, our manipulation of randomly assigning participants to reflect on their secret good news, compared to their non-secret good news, had an independent effect on increased feelings of energy. Participants felt more energized when they were assigned to think of their secret good news, N equals 3.75, SE equals 0.15, than when they were assigned to the non-secret good news condition, N equals 3.33, SE equals 0.14, S. Estimated means that account for participant and category of secret. In addition, the intent to share also had an independent effect on energy, similar to the positive effects of actually sharing good news with others. Gable and Rees, 2010. 2010. Importantly, participants felt more energized in the secret good news condition relative to the non-secret good news condition, independent of whether they intended to share their good news. These effects remained when controlling for positive effect, which explained a large amount of variance in feelings of energy. Discussion. Study 1 examined the effects of reflecting on secret good news versus non-secret good news across the same content categories on feelings of energy. Our design leveraged the fact that most people have multiple current pieces of good news, which allowed us to simply vary whether participants thought about their current pieces of good news that were secret versus non-secret. Participants who were randomly assigned to think about secret good news felt more energized than those who thought about non-secret good news. Importantly, this effect was independent of positive effect and people's intentions to share the good news. Additionally, the intent to share good news, irrespective of secrecy, was itself energizing, which is sensible given that sharing positive information with others is a way in which people can connect with others and amplify their well-being. Langston, 1994, Rime et al., 1991. Importantly, thinking about secret good news was still energizing over and above this effect of the intent to share. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Figure 1% of study 1 sample currently with each piece of good news, secret and non-secret. Proposal. Pregnancy business, doing well professional development, won something professional acceptance, approved new relationship, lucky bet, moving party, new project achievement, recognition, new possession, health, news promotion, travel, new job, financial, windfall, activity, life event, new hope, uncertain, positive thing, overcame obstacle, other news, found something, gift, receiving new opportunity, surprise, family news, completed task, self-development, ambition, reduced debt, self-gift, gift, giving, saving up money, 0%, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% of sample. Secret, non-secret. Note. Y-axis sorted by the total frequency, secret plus non-secret, such that more common current good news is at the top of the graph, and less common current good news is at the bottom. 1. Unlike a classic multi-level model, e.g., students nested within a school, secrets are not nested within participants because the same secret can be had by multiple participants, and participants will not have every secret. Hence, secrets and participants are cross-classified. 1022 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. the intent to share positive information was also energizing extends the capitalization literature that has focused on related but distinct outcomes, i.e., positive effect and well-being, Gable and Rees, 2010, Gable et al., 2004. Even though positive effect explained a large portion of variance in feelings of energy, reflecting on positive secrets, relative to positive non-secrets, was still energizing when controlling for positive effect. Though often linked, Ryan and Frederick, 1997, Sheldon et al., 1996, feelings of energy are distinct from positive affective states like happiness, joy, and contentment. Feelings of energy are associated with feelings of aliveness, vigor, and a readiness to take on whatever lies ahead. Nix et al., 1999, Ryan and Desi, 2008, Ryan and Frederick, 1997. Study 2, Positive Secrets versus Positive Information Unknown for Other Reasons. In Study 2, we compared positive secrets to positive information unknown for other reasons. Again, presents an ideal context for this study, because good news is often unknown by others until it is shared with them. The design of Study 2 allowed us to examine common pieces of good news, this time within a context that manipulated the underlying reason behind the positive information being unknown. We asked people to imagine having a piece of good news that their romantic partner did not yet know, i.e., we hold constant the person who is not aware of the good news. Subsequently, we experimentally manipulated the reason, intrinsic or extrinsic, for having the information unknown. Recall that Study 1 examined a broad and diverse set of good news that people typically have, as determined by a separate group of 1,000 participants. Study 2 again utilized this list of common pieces of good news, but this time we asked participants to pick an experience from the list that A. could plausibly happen to them. Soon, B. would make them happy, and SC. would not be known by others until shared. The advantage of this method is that it holds constant that each participant is thinking about the same types of good news, but it lets each participant select the content that best matches these criteria. As in Study 1, this method allows us to model the content of the good news as a random factor and allows us to generalize across the categories of good news. In all conditions, participants imagined a piece of good news that was not yet known by others. In our intrinsic motivation condition, the news was not known because the participant freely chose to keep it secret. This condition emphasizes autonomy in the decision to keep the secret, an ingredient of intrinsic motivation, Desi and Ryan, 1985. We compared this condition to an extrinsic condition, i.e., unknown by others because of external forces, and a baseline condition, i.e., neither intrinsic nor extrinsic. Method. Participants and design. Using Lab Research's Turk Prime, we recruited 600 participants, 356 women, 240 men, 4 other. Mage equals 39.23, SD equals 13.44, range equals 19 to 76, seeking 200 participants per study cell. We chose this sample size to be able to detect an effect size of D equals 0.28, with 80% and alpha equals 0.05. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 3 conditions: an internal reason for the positive secret, an external reason for the positive secret, and, as a baseline condition, no specified reason for the positive secret. Procedure. To accommodate our design that held constant the target to whom the positive information was unknown, we recruited participants in committed relationships. Upon entry, participants knew how long they had been with their romantic partner. Participants were then exposed to the same list of common pieces of good news from Study 1 and were asked to select a piece of good news that could plausibly happen to them, would make them happy, and would not be known by their partner until shared. This choice was then typed into one of 3 vignettes. Participants were randomly assigned to imagine their good news was not currently known to their partner, as something they had chosen to keep secret, intrinsic condition, as something that could not currently be shared due to external forces, extrinsic condition, or with no reason specified, baseline condition. We then measured resulting feelings of energy. Stimuli. Participants were shown the 38 common categories of good news from Study 1 and were asked to select a piece of good news that met each of the 3 criteria. A. This would make me happy. B. This is plausible, i.e., could actually happen to me. And SC. My partner would not know about this until I told them. After selecting the good news that best fit, participants had to check a box to confirm each of the 3 criteria applied to their selection. Prompt. In all conditions, we piped to participants the good news they selected as something personally plausible, positive, and would not be known to their partner until shared. To avoid participants inferring different sharing intentions across conditions, in each condition, it was implied that the good news would eventually be shared. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Table 1, predicting feelings of energy, Study 1. Independent variable. Model 1, Model 2, positive effect entered. B95% CISEDFTP, B95% CISEDFTP. Secrecy condition point 4. Note. CIE. Positive secrets 1023. Intrinsic condition. Participants read, imagine you have the good news above, but you're going to keep this good news secret, and you are going to surprise your partner when you get home after work. How would this make you feel? Extrinsic condition. Participants read, imagine you have the good news above, but you can't tell your partner right now, because they are in meetings until the end of the workday, so you have to wait to tell them when you get home after work. How would this make you feel? Baseline condition. Participants read, imagine you have the good news above, but you haven't told your partner yet. How would this make you feel? Feelings of energy. Next, participants completed an expanded feelings of energy scale, which asked how tired, depleted, weak, passive, active, invigorated, strong, energized, awake and alert, and alive they felt, from 1, not at all, to 7, very much, from Slepian et al., 2019. The first 4 listed items were reverse-coded, and an average was taken so that higher scores on this index indicate feeling more energized, alpha equals 0.88. The order of items was randomized. Results. We implemented a multi-level model that included random intercepts for the category of good news selected. There was no random effects for participants as there was only 1 data point for each participant, and as in Study 1, random slope models failed to converge. By entering 2 dummy variables, 1 equals intrinsic versus 0 equals not, and 1 equals extrinsic versus 0 equals not, simultaneously, each coefficient represents the effect of that condition relative to the baseline condition, an approach that is equivalent to an analysis of variance, ANOVA, within the context of regression modeling, here implemented within a multi-level modeling framework. In all conditions, participants considered a piece of good news that they reported could plausibly happen to them, make them happy, and was not yet known by their partner. Relative to the baseline condition, the extrinsic condition was fatiguing, B equals minus 0.21, 95% CI, minus 0.40, minus 0.02, SE equals 0.10, T, 589.56, equals minus 2.19. Minus 2.19, P equals 0.029, whereas relative to the discussion. Study 1 demonstrated, across the same content categories of good news, reflecting on good news that was secret was more energizing than good news that was not secret. As outlined in the introduction, we proposed positive secrets are typically kept for relatively intrinsic reasons. Study 2 experimentally suggested that a positive secret held for an intrinsic reason is more energizing than one held for an extrinsic reason or for no specified reason. An advantage of the Study 2 design is that we were able to treat the category of good news piped into the experimental vignettes as a random factor to generalize across, and participants specifically chose a piece of good news that would make them happy and happen to them. Because the good news was selected before the manipulation, we had no reason to expect the good news to vary in systematic ways across conditions. Thus, in all conditions, we assigned to participants a piece of good news to imagine. All that differed by condition was the reason why the good news was not known. Imagining that a piece of good news was unknown due to intrinsic reasons was energizing relative to baseline. In contrast, imagining that a piece of good news was unknown due to external constraints was fatiguing relative to baseline. Thus, the intrinsic condition was energizing while the extrinsic condition was fatiguing. These findings align with a large body of evidence that shows when a behavior feels autonomous, self-driven, or self-determined, people report higher feelings of vitality and energy, whereas when people feel pressured by external forces, that same behavior can feel draining and fatiguing. Muraven et al., 2008, Nix et al., 1999, Ryan and Desi, 2008, Ryan and Frederick, 1997. Study 2 and 2 additional studies reported in the supplemental material provided experimental evidence for the role of intrinsic motivation, but relied on participants imagining hypothetical secrets. This method cannot approach the significance of personally held secrets, and the details of the vignettes may have introduced demand characteristics. Accordingly, studies 3 to 5 return to real secrets. Study 3, positive secrets versus other kinds of secrets. Our next set of studies compared positive secrets to other kinds of secrets. In so doing, we consider whether positive secrets carry divergent effects not only from content-matched positive information that is not kept secret, Study 1, and positive information that is unknown due to other reasons, Study 2, but also from other kinds of secrets as well, Studies 3 to 5. Building off Study 2, we hypothesize that positive secrets will be more energizing than other secrets because positive secrets are more intrinsically than extrinsically motivated. Nix et al., 1999, Ryan and Deci, 2008, Ryan and Frederick, 1997. Thus, instead of manipulating intrinsic or extrinsic reasons for keeping the positive secret, in study 3, we varied the type of secret recalled and measured whether the secret was kept because of personal choice or because of external pressures. Method. Participants and design. Using Cloud Research's Turk Prime, we recruited 700 participants, 398 women, 292 men, 10 other, MAGE equals 41.47, SD equals 12.60, range equals 20-78, seeking at least 200 participants per study cell after exclusions. We excluded 92 participants who said they did not have a secret to recall, 37 in the unspecified secret condition, 26 in the negative secret condition, 29 in the positive secret condition, and an additional 6 participants who wrote about a secret, but later indicated, at the end of the study, the response was fabricated, 2 in the unspecified secret condition, 1 in the negative secret condition, 3 in the positive secret condition. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 3 conditions: unspecified secret condition, negative secret condition, and positive secret condition. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. 1024 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Procedure. In all conditions, we asked participants to recall a current secret. In the unspecified secret condition, participants were simply asked to think about a current secret. In the negative secret condition, participants were asked to think about a current negative secret, and in the positive secret condition, participants were asked to think about a current positive secret. Subsequently, we measured whether the secret was intrinsically versus extrinsically motivated as well as positive effect. Unspecified secret condition. In the unspecified secret condition, we did not specify a valence for the recalled secret. Participants read, we ask you to think about a secret that you are keeping. The next line read, this secret should be about you, not someone else. Negative secret condition. Participants read, we ask you to think about a negative secret that you are keeping. The next line read, make sure the secret is about something negative / something you feel bad about, and then this secret should be about you, not someone else. Positive secret condition. Participants read, we ask you to think about a positive secret that you are keeping. The next line read, make sure the secret is about something positive / something you feel good about, and then this secret should be about you, not someone else. In all conditions, participants last read. Without revealing specific details about your secret, we are curious what it pertains to. Please write about the secret in the provided box, revealing as much or as little details as you'd like. Please do your best to think of something that fits this prompt. If you can't think of something that fits, only then should you say you currently have no secret. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation measure. Participants were then asked, which of these best describes your motivation for keeping the secret? And participants then selected one of the 2 below options, presented in the following format. I am intrinsically motivated. That is, I am doing this for myself. My own internal desires lead me to keep the secret. I am extrinsically motivated. That is, I am doing this because of other people or other pressures. An external factor, someone or something else, leads me to keep the secret. This measure asks participants which best describes their secret, whether it was chosen freely and autonomously or whether it was chosen due to external pressures. Accordingly, the aspect of motivation that we measure here is autonomous motivation. Positive effect measure. On a subsequent page, participants were then asked, when thinking about your secret, how much do you feel, and then completed the Panis-X joy scale, Watson and Clark, 1999 happy, joyful, delighted, and cheerful, from 1, not at all to 5, extremely, alpha equals 0.99. Honesty check. After reporting demographics, participants were asked if they recalled a real secret earlier in the study, and we promised if the answer was no, they would still be compensated, no questions asked. Results. Positive effect. We first conducted independent samples t-tests on the positive effect measure, which showed that participants reported greater positive effect in the positive secret condition, M equals 3.93, SD equals 0.95, 95% CI, 3.80, 4.07, than in the unspecified secret condition, M equals 1.97, SD equals 1.38, 95% CI, 1.78, 2.16, T, 366.68, equals 16.63. P less than 0.0001, D D equals 1.66, 95% CI, 1.43, 1.89, 0.2, and participants in the unspecified secret condition reported greater positive effect than participants in the negative secret condition. N equals 1.29, SD equals 0.76, 95% CI, 1.19, 1.40, T, 320.36, equals 6.21, P less than 0.0001, D equals 0.61, 95% CI, 0.41, 0.81, 0.3. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Given the binary nature of this measure, we used logistic regression, coding the motivation variable as intrinsic equals 1 and extrinsic equals 0, and calculated two dummy predictor variables, 1 equals positive versus 0 equals not, and 1 equals negative versus 0 equals not. When entering both dummy variables simultaneously, each coefficient represents the effect of that condition relative to the unspecified secret condition. Both dummy variables were entered in a logistic regression predicting the motivation variable, which revealed that participants reported greater intrinsic motivation in the positive secret condition, N equals 0.78, SD equals 0.42, 95% CI, 0.72, 0.84, than in the unspecified secret condition, N equals 0.55, SD equals 0.50, 95% CI, 0.48, 0.62, D equals 1.08, SE equals 0.22, Z equals 4.85, P less than 0.0001. There was no difference between the unspecified secret condition and the negative secret condition, N equals 0.61, SD equals 0.49, 95% CI, 0.55, 0.68, D equals 0.26, SE equals 0.20, Z equals 1.29, P equals 0.196. And these effects did not change when controlling for positive effect. Table 2. Discussion. Study 3 examines the motivations behind positive secrets compared to negative secrets and secrets of unspecified valence. As predicted, positive secrets were more motivated by intrinsic reasons than other secrets, as operationalized by autonomous choice versus choice based in external pressures. Although people feel good about their positive secrets, they also independently reported that positive secrets are more motivated by intrinsic reasons compared to other types of secrets. We propose it is this link to intrinsic motivation that makes positive secrets more energizing than other secrets, a hypothesis we tested in Study 4. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Two Levine's tests showed unquil variances, F equals 5.46, P equals 0.020, and so a correction factor was used that did not alter statistical significance. Three Levine's tests showed unquil variances, F equals 38.53, P less than 0.001, and so a correction factor was used that did not alter statistical significance. Positive secrets 1025. Study 4, Positive secrets versus secrets of unspecified valence. Study 3 demonstrated that positive secrets are more intrinsically motivated than other types of secrets. Study 2 suggested that good news kept secret for intrinsic reasons was more energizing than good news kept secret due to external constraints. In our next study, we tested whether intrinsic motivation would mediate the energizing effects of positive secrets. Study 4 made two modifications to the Study 3 design. First, we compared positive secrets to secrets of unspecified valence. Study 3 found that negative secrets and secrets of unspecified valence did not differ in terms of intrinsic motivation, which is a predictable outcome given that the prototypical secret is a negative secret, Slepian et al., 2017-2020. Given that Study 3 found negative secrets led to less positive effects than secrets of unspecified valence, testing against unspecified secrets allows for a conservative test of our hypotheses. This design is also in line with prior work that has simply asked participants to recall a current secret without specifying that the secret should be negative, e.g., Slepian et al., 2017-2019. We also examined whether intrinsic motivation would predict and mediate feelings of energy when controlling for positive effect. We hypothesized that recalling positive secrets relative to secrets of unspecified valence would be energizing as a function of intrinsic motivation, including independent of positive effect. Method. Participants and design. Using Cloud Research's Turk Prime, we recruited 500 participants, 241 women, 255 men, 4 other, MAGE equals 39.84, SD equals 11.90, range equals 18 to 76, seeking at least 200 participants per study cell after exclusions. We excluded 57 participants who said they did not have a secret to recall, 26 in the unspecified secret condition, 31 in the positive secret condition, and an additional 7 participants who wrote about a secret, but later indicated the response was fabricated, 2 in the unspecified secret condition, 5 in the positive secret condition. Participants were randomly assigned to one of two conditions, an unspecified valence secret condition and a positive secret condition. Experimental manipulation. The procedure was similar to Study 3. In the unspecified valence secret condition, participants were simply asked to think about a current secret, and in the positive secret condition, participants were asked to think about a current positive secret, using the same prompts from Study 3. Measures. We next measured whether the secret was intrinsically versus extrinsically motivated, using the Study 3 measure, and then measured feelings of energy, using the Study 2 measure, and positive effect, also using the Study 2 measure, the Panis-X Joy Scale, Watson, and Clark, 1999. For feelings of energy, participants completed the feelings of energy scale, which asked how tired, depleted, weak, passive, active, invigorated, strong, energized, awake and alert, and alive they felt, from 1, not at all, to 7, very much, from Slepian et al., 2019. The first 4 listed items were reverse-coded, and an average was taken so that higher scores on this index indicate feeling more energized, alpha equals 0.90. The order of items was randomized. Results. Positive effect. Participants reported greater positive effect in the positive secret condition, M equals 4.12, SD equals 0.86, 95% CI, 4.01, 4.24, then in the unspecified secret condition, M equals 2.03, SD equals 1.31, 95% CI, 1.86, 2.21, T, 384.07 equals 19.76, P less than 0.0001, D equals 1.87, 95% CI, 1.65, 2.10, 0.4. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Participants reported greater intrinsic motivation in the positive secret condition, N equals 0.69, SD equals 0.46, 95% CI, 0.63, 0.75, then in the unspecified secret condition, N equals 0.52, SD equals 0.50, 95% CI, 0.45, 0.58, B equals 0.73, SE equals 0.20, Z equals 3.68, P equals 0.0002, including when controlling for positive effect, B equals 0.69, SE equals 0.27, Z equals 2.57, P equals 0.010. Feelings of energy. Participants reported greater feelings of energy in the positive secret condition, N equals 5.56, SD equals 0.89, 95% CI, 5.44, 5.68, then in the unspecified secret condition, M equals 4.12, SD equals 1.30, 95% CI, 3.95, 4.29, T, 392.26, equals 13.58, P less than 0.0001, D equals 1.29, 95% CI, 1.08, 1.49, 0.5. We next entered condition, positive secret versus unspecified valence secret, intrinsic motivation, and positive effect as simultaneous predictors of feelings of energy, and intrinsic motivation independently predicted. Greater feelings of energy, Table 3. Indirect effect. Using the R-package mediation with 5,000 bootstraps, we found an indirect effect, i.e., of recalling positive secrets versus secrets of unspecified valence on feelings of energy independent of positive effect as a function of greater intrinsic motivation, i.e. equals 0.04, 95% CI, 0.01, 0.08, P equals 0.011. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Table 2, predicting intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, Study 3. Independent variable BSE-ZP. Positive secret versus unspecified secret 0.85.273.10.002. Negative secret versus unspecified secret 0.34. Note. DF. For Levine's test showed unclear variances, F equals 14.42, P less than 0.001, and so a correction factor was used. 1026 Slepian, Greenaway, Camp, and Galinsky. Discussion. Replicating. Study 3. Study 4 found that, compared to other secrets, positive secrets were more intrinsically motivated, operationalized as freely chosen rather than chosen due to external pressures. Study 4 additionally showed that positive secrets were more energizing than other types of secrets. Furthermore, this intrinsic motivation explains the energizing effect of positive secrets. This link provides evidence for our theory that it is the intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation behind positive secrets that explains their energizing effects. Critically, Study 4 demonstrates an energizing effect of positive secrets from intrinsic motivation that is independent of positive effect. These results suggest that in addition to positive effect, another critical ingredient of the energizing effects of positive secrets is that they are more self-determined than other types of secrets. Study 5, examining additional potential mechanisms of the energizing effect of positive secrets. Our final study sought to integrate the strengths of our previous studies that examined real personal secrets, while further probing the mechanisms behind increased feelings of energy. We manipulated whether the information people recalled was positive versus not, and secret versus not. We asked participants in all conditions to think about information that they anticipated soon would be relevant to an upcoming conversation with their partner. This perspective design matches our definition of secrecy, which is the intention to keep information from one or more others. Slepian, 2022, Slepian et al., 2017. This design did not match secrets and non-secrets by content, as in Study 1, but the design did allow us to match secret information to non-secret information in perspective orientation, i.e., all participants thought about real personal information that was soon to be relevant to a conversation with their partner. In addition, we tested our proposed mechanism with a greater degree of precision. As outlined in the introduction, our main argument is that positive secrets are relatively more intrinsically motivated than extrinsically motivated. This argument presents motivation on a continuum, Deci and Ryan, 1985. In contrast, studies 3 and 4 provided evidence for our theory using a binary measure. Furthermore, these studies operationalized intrinsic motivation in terms of behavior that was autonomously chosen. Autonomy is not the only determinant of intrinsic motivation. Indeed, it is possible for choices to be made for autonomous, yet externally determined, reasons, e.g., choosing which of 2 shirts wear, both picked out by one's spouse, Ryan and Connell, 1989. A stronger test of intrinsic motivation would measure it alongside extrinsic motivation and then compare the relative strength of each reason for keeping a secret, positive or otherwise. Theorizing from the self-concordance model, Sheldon and Elliott, 1998, offered us a method for assessing the interplay between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. This model suggests that goals are particularly beneficial when they are not only autonomously chosen, as we have shown in our previous studies, but also self-integrated. That is, goals are more likely to be vigorously pursued to the extent that they reflect the authentic interests and values of the self, Sheldon and Elliott, 1999, which should also make positive secrets energizing. That is, we propose that people choose to freely keep positive secrets for reasons that reflect personal values and convictions, rather than for reasons imposed by others or current circumstances. This form of self-concordance is assessed as the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, which we use to examine the motivational quality of positive secrets in Study 5. In addition to this more precise mechanism, we assessed the role of additional variables to examine alternative explanations for the energizing effects of positive secrecy. For example, it may be that positive secrets are energizing since people often intend to reveal them, a possibility we controlled for in Study 1. Another possibility is that, compared to other secrets and even non-secrets, people may intend to share positive secrets especially soon, and it is this intention that predicts feelings of energy. Study 5 therefore tested whether these alternative mechanisms accounted for the energizing effects of positive secrets. Method: participants and design. Using Prolific, we recruited 800 participants, 414 women, 351 men, 21 other, MAGE equals 35.15, SD equals 11.92, range equals 18 to 79, seeking at least 200 participants per study cell, and 786 completed the study. We excluded 23 participants who indicated that they fabricated their responses at the conclusion of the study, 9 in the positive secret condition, 8 in the positive non-secret condition, 3 in the unspecified valence secret condition, and 3 in the unspecified valence non-secret condition, and an additional 59 participants who said they did not have an example to recall, 25 in the positive secret condition, 3 in the positive non-secret condition, 28 in the unspecified valence secret condition, and 3 in the unspecified valence non-secret condition. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 4 conditions: positive secret condition, positive non-secret condition, unspecified valence secret condition, and unspecified valence non-secret condition. Experimental manipulation. The procedure was similar to Study 4, except that it was emphasized that all participants should recall information that would soon be relevant to a conversation occurring in the next few days. This document is copyrighted by the American Psychological Association or one of its allied publishers. This article is intended solely for the personal use of the individual user and is not to be disseminated broadly. Table 3, Predicting Feelings of Energy, Study 4. Independent variable B 95% CISETP. Intrinsic versus extrinsic, motivation 0.21, 0.04, 0.37, 0.082, 0.48, 0.013, positive secret versus unspecified secret 0.05, minus 0.17, 0.27, 0.110, 0.42, 0.677, positive effect 0.65, 0.58, 0.73, 0.0418, 0.04 less than 0.0001. Note: DF equals 436. CI equals confidence interval. Southeast equals standard error. Positive secrets 1027. To further match the secret and non-secret information, we held constant the target of the information, the participant's partner, as per Slepian et al., 2017. The secret conditions prompt read: think about something in your life that you are not currently willing to speak with your partner about, and the non-secret conditions prompt read: think about something positive in your life that you are willing to speak with your partner about. In the positive conditions, it was further specified they should think about something positive / something you feel good about. All participants were asked to think about something that could come up in conversation / be relevant to a conversation in the next few days. In the secret conditions, it was further specified that participants were to think about something that you would hold back and keep secret if it was relevant to a conversation, while in the non-secret conditions, participants were instructed to think about something that you would be willing to speak about if it was relevant to a conversation. Accordingly, while we varied the positivity of the information and whether one intended to reveal it, the information was matched on 2 dimensions: target of the information, and soon relevant to an upcoming conversation. That said, unlike in Study 1, the content of secrets versus non-secrets was not matched. Thus, it is likely that the content will vary widely across the secret and non-secret conditions. To parallel the earlier analyses, when decomposing any significant interactions between positivity and secrecy, simple effects compare positive secrets to secrets of unspecified valence, and for comparison, positive non-secrets to non-secrets of unspecified valence. Measures. After recalling the information that was soon going to be relevant to an upcoming conversation with one's partner, positive or not, and secret or not, we next measured, with regard to one's intention for the information, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation using the self-concordance scale, which includes 2 external locus items, reflecting external and introject motivation, N equals 3.88, SD equals 2.05, and 2 internal locus items, reflecting intrinsic and identified motivation, M equals 5.44, SD equals 2.28, using 9-point scales of agreement, see appendix for items. Self-concordance is defined as the difference between the sums of the external and internal scales, Sheldon and Elliott, 1999. Subsequently, we asked how much do you intend to eventually discuss this with your partner? From 1, I do not intend at all to discuss this with my partner, to 7, I very much intend to discuss this with my partner, M equals 5.61, SD equals 1.82, and to your best estimate. When would you reveal this to your partner? 1 never, 2 inches several years, 3 inches a few years, 4 inches a year, 5 inches the next few months, 6 inches the next few weeks, 7 inches the next few days, M equals 5.58, SD equals 1.87. On the next page, participants completed the same feelings of energy scale from Study 4, M equals 4.76, SD equals 1.42, and the Panis-X Joy scale, as also used in Study 4, Watson and Clark, 1999. Results and discussion. We first examined whether secrecy interacted with positivity to predict each of the focal variables, and indeed